All right, yo, listen. Welcome to another episode of Connecting the Dots. I think I forgot something. Oh yeah, that deep shit. That's right. And on today's episode, we're gonna do a semi-decoding video. Now, listen, I know a few of my last videos have been kind of like decoding movies. I promise that this will probably be the last that I do for a while, but I had to do it because it's a perfect segue. In this video, we're going to decode a little bit American Gods, all right? And I think that this is a perfect segue from my last video of Transformers to my next video after this called Gravity and the Gods. So on one hand, you got Transformers, and you're going to get this video, American Gods. Then on the next video, you're going to get Gravity and the Gods, all right? So this is like the perfect transition, and you'll see why a little later in the video. And if you see me looking over to the left, it's only because I'm actually playing the season right now as I do the video. In the last video, I spoke about technology and where technology potentially is going to go, right? And all right, gotta straighten up the mic. And in this video, we're going to talk about the show American Gods. Now, upon initially watching it, I just wasn't impressed. I was expecting to see some deep shit, and it really let me down. But that's because I was going into the show looking for obvious things. Now, what makes this show unique, especially if you're into esoteric knowledge or information, occult information, ancient sciences and things like that, you have to kind of take your lenses off. You got to take your glasses off, because this show actually introduces rare ideas of gods and rare ideas of a lot of esoteric information. So you can't kind of go into it with a preconceived notion that you know shit, because a lot of the stuff that's in here, you're going to miss it because it's not really blatant. So let's just start with what you get in this show. You get zombies, you get religion, you get ancient sciences, you get meditation and focus, you get old gods versus new gods, and that is the paradigm that you see in a lot of folklore or tales about history, all right? So let's just start with this. The intro. If you haven't noticed, when you watch the intro, it's like you know that there's a lot of symbolism going on, but you really can't put your finger on it. So I'm going to play the intro just so I can kind of go by it step by step. So you're seeing a lot of statues, all right? You're seeing a lot of statues, and you're seeing the third eye being very much so put out there in the forefront, right? But in the background, you also see technology. So you see the third eye, but you see it having a lens like a camera, right? That's a message. The third eye has a lens and a shutter like a camera. And the reason why I know is because I deal with cameras a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then the next scene, it kind of goes into the so-called quote-unquote Jewish candle thing. But what you're seeing is that the sign of Judaism with the candles, right? But at the top, the very top of the candles, you see these inputs, these microphone XLR inputs, these 5-pin inputs. And the reason why I know this is because I deal with microphones. I deal with other type of technology. But why are they putting these technology outputs and inputs on top of the religious candle piece? We'll touch on that in a minute. Then you're getting a lot more symbolism of ancient gods, and you're getting Buddha, symbolisms of Buddha. Buddha's popping pills in the intro. Buddha is popping pills. He's throwing pills up. Okay, and we'll touch on this and why they're doing all this later. And then they're giving you a little bit more technology. Now you're seeing a lotus flower, but it looks like it's technological. Now you're seeing an Anubis looking dog on a pyramid, but he's a robot. Okay, all right. Now you're seeing some other abstract things. You're getting a space shuttle. You're getting an astronaut that's pinned to a cross like Jesus, right? Why did they do that? Because we really believe they went to the moon and they know that that shit was falsified. You know what I'm saying? So what are they saying here? They're saying that Jesus is just about as real as a moon landing. And you're getting the eagle. They're getting the eagle, which is Masonic at the least. I'm pretty sure it's going, but they're putting the eagle at the top of the totem of all the other symbols that they've showed all throughout the intro. So I found that very, very, very interesting. All right. So that pretty much is going to do it for the intro. Now, the main character. It took me a while to figure it out, but the main character, he's a demigod. Okay, I don't think they haven't even released that information yet. But Mr. Wednesday, who is really, it took me a minute to figure out Mr. Wednesday, because Mr. Wednesday, I was like Hermes, Thoth, like why Wednesday? But I didn't really go as far as to think Odin. So he turns out to be Odin, the god Odin. Okay, so Odin has brought this mortal with him to do these various tasks on his mission of trying to pretty much bring back all the old gods. Okay, so all the old gods are going to battle with whom? They're going to battle with the new gods, and we'll talk about who the new gods is a little later in the video. So Mr. Wednesday has befriended the main character. I forget his name, but the black looking white guy. I don't know what dude is, but he's Middle Eastern something. But he looks like he has some melanin in him. So he befriends him. The reason why he befriends him, and it hasn't came out in the show yet, is because he's a demigod. He's half mortal, half god. Okay, so along the storyline comes a lot of other characters, like Mr. Nancy. Then there's this African woman or this African god character who's having sex and having people worship her through sex. Okay, we're gonna touch on that in a minute too, and there's a few other characters along the way, but these are all the old gods. Now, Mr. Nancy, the black guy, the reason why his character is what it is, I'm not sure who he's really based on, but this is what I mean. You got to take off these lenses and kind of use a lot of what do you call a lot of comprehensive thinking to kind of figure out the puzzle of what they're trying to correlate. So basically, Mr. Nancy he's the black people's god. That's why on the second episode, when he's on a slave ship, he comes on a slave ship with a pimp suit. You feel me? He's traveled through time. He has control over time, and he's on a slave ship with a pimp suit, and he's spitting game to the slaves about y'all don't even know. In about 500 years, you guys are fucked, right? Okay? So the reason why Mr. Wednesday is collecting all of these gods together, Mr. Nancy, the other African lady god, the old god with the hammer, is because they're losing their power. And how do gods retain their power? They retain their power through being worshipped, which is attention. So the people are stopping to pay attention and worshiping the gods, so the gods are losing power. And the reason why I have to bring this up is because it touches on a very important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the god or man's conception of the gods? You know what I'm saying? Did man create the gods because they started to pay attention to a story? This is very important in the theme of at least this first season of this show. Jay-Z had a song, No Church in the Wild. I think it was on the Watch the Throne album. Human beings in the mob. But what's a mob to a king? But what's a king to a god? But what's a god to a non-believer who don't believe in anything? So even with that little piece of song, it's letting you know that gods do not have power if you do not feed into their power. You know what I'm saying? I digress. So anyways, back to the storyline. So basically, Mr. Wednesday is knowing that the gods are losing power. But one of the reasons why, and the African woman that is absorbing people into her womb and they're going into the astral plane, that is the deepest shit ever. Because why? Because the vagina, and especially the melanated vagina, is the portal to all worlds, in and out and in, and again. All right, so is the portal to all worlds, and they're just showcasing these little bits of information all through the entire first season of the series. Very good show. You know, I didn't give it a chance at first. Very, very, very good show. And back to Mr. Nancy, the black dude in the pimp suit. See, the reason why he's a god, because he's black people's conception of style, swag, being fresh to death, popping collars, paying attention to certain things creates God forms, creates thought forms which become God forms. You see what I'm saying? They touch on this through the whole shit. Now, who is Mr. Wednesday going to war with? He's going to war with the new gods. Who are the new gods? They really don't say, but you kind of catch on. The new gods is technology. That's the new gods. Why? Because we all keep our cell phone in our hand. We're all doing this. I'll give you a quick little story. You know how you driving down the street and they're doing construction on the road and you got the guy with the slow sign and traffic's coming, you stop so the traffic can come, and then slow so y'all can come. This fool was on his phone with the sign. My point of even bringing that up is we are all worshiping technology, even because we're giving technology our attention. You see what I'm saying? So now it is becoming a thought form, which is now becoming a God form. But again, like I said earlier, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Was technology already a God form before we started to pay attention, pay it attention, and pay it worship? It's like right now, you're probably watching this video on a computer, on a smartphone. So this is what I'm saying. So in the course of the series, and if you look at the young white dude who's always in the limo, he's young, fresh technology. He's the latest and the greatest. He represents iPhones and shit like that, iPads. He's like, you know, he's a white dude with the grill. So they're playing even off of pop culture, because it is what it is. He's like a Snapchat. He represents Snapchat. He represents Kick. He represents Instagram. All this type of shit. This is what he represents, right? His parents are a little bit older and they're more structured, but they are still parts of technology. His mom, when she entered the scene, she was like, I Love Lucy or something, or Marilyn Monroe or something like that. So she was old school technology, but still, yet she represented technology. You see what I'm saying? And when you go back and watch the series, you'll see her when they first come in contact with her. She's in a department store and she pops up on the screen. You know what I'm saying? She pops up on the TV. Another TV show that kind of touches on this is Black Mirror. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but if you haven't seen it, check out Black Mirror as well. Like I said, you get a lot of other things in this show. You get focus and concentration, little tidbits of meditation, little tidbits of them talking about the third eye and things of that nature. So like when Mr. Wednesday tells him to concentrate and just think about snow. Just focus on the snow, you know what I'm saying? And he made him drink the hot cocoa with the marshmallows on it to put in his mind and into his subconscious about clouds and snow. See, this is another meditation trick. When you make yourself happy, it's easier for you to focus because you are in a higher vibration. So like I'm saying, it's just so many subtle things in this show that makes this show great. A lot of scenes you'll see that it'll be a red door or a red sign or something blatantly in red. This is representing of the root chakra, the lower chakra. They're tapping in to pump that information in. Also, what do they touch on? They touch on what you think happens. What you think happens is what actually happens to you when you die. So whatever your mentality is or your thought process is, this is what happens to you after you die. This has been my theory and my concept that I will definitely touch on in my Necronomicon video, which is coming. Oh yes, the Necronomicon video is coming, right? When the wife who cheated on him, when she, remember, it was flies always around, right? And she was trying to kill herself, and she was spraying the fly spray. What happened to her? You know what I'm saying? When she passed away, she became a zombie, and it was always flies around. So her mentality that she had when she passed on is what ultimately became what she lived in her afterlife. You know what I'm saying? So they touch on that. And she was a zombie. They touch on zombieism. You know what I'm saying? They touch on a lot of things. Now, getting back to the battle between the old gods and the new gods. You see, the African lady god who was absorbing people into her vagina, she turned out to be like a dope fiend or a knock or something, right? And then the young dude, the young technology god hopped out and it was like, here, gave her a cell phone. I can bring you back. What did this symbolize? What did this symbolize? Anybody? Wrong. Close, but wrong. What did this symbolize? This symbolized the worship through the phone. So since she was a god, the symbolization of him giving her the phone is like, I could bring you people worshiping your vagina through the phone. What does that mean? Porn, Snapchat, dick pics, sexting, all of that is represented in lust, sex through the technology. You see what I'm saying? So he revived her. So basically they're saying, even if you do worship old gods, you're going to worship old gods through this technology now. So basically you're still worshiping us. Even going through YouTube, you know what I'm saying, or even going through any type of the internet, Google. Basically they're breaking down Google. Like Google is pretty much controlling everything and kind of doubling back to the previous video that I did about Transformers. This is what I mean by technology interweaving through existence. You see what I'm saying? This is kind of like you're actually seeing the Matrix being built. You're actually seeing it. We're going through the shit right now. And this is what I guess people mean by being a light worker and all that. But people just be saying that shit, but they don't really understand what they're saying. So basically, through all this chaos, right, me and many others are bringing light through this shit. So that's why you have so much convoluted bullshit on the internet. Shit that's just corrupting you. You see what I'm saying? Because it's so easily accessed. But every now and then you'll come across little packets of light, you know what I'm saying, to help you formulate your DNA. And I think the last episode where there's a meeting of all the gods, where the old gods are there and the new gods end up showing up, right? So there's this scene where there's hella Jesuses. There's a white Jesus, a black Jesus, a Mexican Jesus, a Chinese Jesus, a Hindu Jesus. There's hella Jesuses, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's hella funny because they're like, of course there's hella Jesuses. That's because the concept of Jesus is so spread throughout the world that it's in all different parts of the world. But in all different parts of the world, the picture or the image of Jesus looks like the people. You know what I'm saying? So this kind of doubles back to what I said at the beginning part of the video. What created what first? Did man create God as a concept to try to understand the universe? And in the process of creating God as a concept, trying to understand the universe, we have created these real life God forms. Highly possible, highly possible. And I spoke on this in another video that, you know, when people give you an entity to worship, when they create the entity and you worship that entity, they can pull that energy that you're giving that entity. They can pull that and use it. See, this whole existence on this planet is about energy, giving and taking. And the people who control it ain't giving shit. They're taking. You know what I'm saying? You think the people who control this planet are controlling it with money? They control it with money. They control it with your science. They use your sciences against you. Yeah, they use ancient, hidden, melanated, Kemetic. Not even Kemetic. Just ancient sciences against you. And it shows shit. Anyhow. So they're walking through the party of all these old guys, and there's hella Jesuses floating around, and it's hella funny. It's hella funny. They're clowning. They're clowning. They're telling you right in your face, like, fuck out of here. The whole point of the whole first season is pretty much you create the gods and you give them power. And without you giving them that power, they have none. So who really is in control? And who is really being controlled? You know what I'm saying? But I'll leave that up to you to decide. So that'll do it for this episode of that deep shit. And I don't plan on doing any more Decoded videos. Never know. But yeah, Gravity and the Gods coming up. Peace.